I'm audible, do let me know if I'm not audible. Guys. Anniversary. Two properties are in Mumbai. He produces tax liability. He is trading. He is one of them in the residential house properties in Mumbai. His wife Miss Anika, and the second one to his minor daughter Miss Pooja. Without adequate consideration in April 2024, expected monthly rent of the self-occupied property in Delhi is 50,000 and the expected monthly rent of the property in Mumbai is 75,000 each. He paid the municipal taxes amounting to rupees 1,20,000 for the letter of property. In addition, we will sold the land of the Bangalore on 19/12/2024 for rupees 49 lakh, for which we have paid 1% brokerage on the sale consideration. The stamp duty value on the date of the sale was 55 lakhs. This plot of the land was purchased by him in 1999 for 3 lakhs. The fair market value of the stamp duty value on this plot was 1st April is 7.2 lakh and 7 lakh respectively. Mr. Vivek invested 12 lakhs in the RECL bonds on 15th July 2025. Further, he has taken life insurance policy on 15th 2023 and the policy be on July 2023 for 10 years with the sum assured of 35 lakhs and 25 lakhs respectively. The annual premium payable on this policy is 3.5 lakhs and 2.5 lakhs respectively. Mr. Vivek opted out the default tax regime under section 115 PSA. This measure given our group the most appropriate answers of the following multiple choice questions.
like, share and subscribe the channel. Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Do like, share and subscribe. Miss Archana Indian citizen is a government employee working for the Indian government. She submits the following information to the salary in received in her visa for the services rendered below. Taxable profit from the business carried on in China, profit from the business carried taxable loss from the business carried on in Vadodara, loss from the business carried on in USA for the profits are not received in the business control from the Rishikesh on absorbed appreciation of the business in USA. No profit from the business and value control from the 60% of the profits deposited in the bank in value and 40% received on dividend from the house property situated in USA and received in USA and the money was returned and the gross total income of Ms. Archer for the assessment year in the 26 assuming that she has opted out from the page 96 and 115 place the resident but not ordinary resident here. Resident but not ordinary resident. इनकम टैक्सेबल होगा और इंडिया से ऑपरेट किया हुआ बिजनेस टैक्सेबल होगा. तो चलो बिजनेस करवानी चाहिए. Total family business in Bali control fund value 60% of the property deposited in the Bank of Bali and 40% received in India. In case of an Indian student, only the Indian received or the deemed to be received in India and income appear or arise or deemed to appear or arise in India is chargeable to tax. However, in case of the resident but not ordinary resident, income derived and business from a business control in all professions set up in India is also taxable given for it accrue or arise outside India. Therefore, the income referred in the section number 1 to 3 are taxable in the hands of Mr. Achal, Mrs. Achal in both the cases if she is a resident but not ordinarily resident or if she is a non-resident. The loss of the business carried on in the USA, absorbed appreciation of business in USA and the profit from the business in Bali will be fully chargeable to the tax in India if she is a resident but not ordinary resident as it derived from the business control in India. However, the profit from the business in Bali is taxable in case of the non-resident to the extent of such profits received in India. Miss Ashima, age 45 years, had been the HR manager for past 15 years in the Shukla Limited. She gives you the following particulars for the basic salary: 70,000 DNS allowance is 25,000, 30% of which forms a part of the retirement benefits. Bonus is 21,000 per month. Miss Ashima contributes 18% to the basic salary as a contribution to the RPF, and the employer contribution the same amount to her RPF account. The company pays the medical insurance premium of 20,000 to the effect insurance on the health of the Miss Asima. She received the arrears of the salary of 35,000. The details of the arrears of the salary are as follows: total income and arrears now received include the relief available under the section 89 of the tax payable for the assessment year 25-26. Assume that Ms. Ashima exercised the option of the shifting out of the default taxation regime provided under the section 115 BAC money of the assessment year 25-26 for the assessment year 22-23 and the assessment year 24-25. Ms. Ashima has paid the tax as per the provision of the 115 BAC. However, in the assessment year she has paid a tax under the normal provision of the tax. resident individual the details of the income earned for the previous year 24-25 from the diversified business and the investment portfolio are as under he runs two businesses, manufacturing business with a profit of 10 lakh and speculative business with a loss of 7 lakh. 7 lakh speculative business का loss उसी से set off हो सकता है. He incurred a loss of 2,15,000 from the letter of property and also and an income of 50,000 from the activity of owning and managing the resources set off नहीं होगा. He incurred a loss of 2,15,000 from the letter of property. हाँ तो ये अगर नॉर्मल प्रोविजन लिया रहेगा तो सेट ऑफ नहीं होगा किसी और हद से. और अगर For running of the income, he incurred an expenses of rupees 5,000. He has a short-term capital gains of rupees 15,000 from the equity share sold. 50,000, 112 on which short-term STT was paid, and the long-term capital loss of 75,000. So from the loss of the from other assets sold on 59/2024, Mr. K took the divorce from his wife in April and the custody of the minors is given to Mrs. K. The following the divorce, he transferred the ownership of the house property to his wife. Mr. K deposited a cash of 50,000 every month into the bank account of his minors, and during the previous year 24-25 interest income 25,000 is generated on his son's bank account. He had also contributed to the sum of rupees 2 lakh and the electoral trust of incurred expenditure of 30,000 on the advertisement in the brochure of the political party. He exemplary brochure party. He authored an investment portfolio book and received the royalty income of rupees 4,10,000 during the previous year 24-25 from the publisher. From the publisher in the January, the royalty is calculated at 16% of the book sales value. He incurred a 60,000 as expenditure for the earning his income. For earning this income, out of the total royalty, 2,90,000 was remitted to the India by 31st August 2025, and the balance remained abroad to 30 September 2025. Compute the total income of Mr. K, assuming that he exercises the option of keeping out of the default taxation regime. Assume that Mr. K's total income, excluding the minor income, is higher than that of his wife. If it is higher than his wife, then the income of his son would be clubbed together with his own income. The only person responsible for paying any sum in that is 30,000 in a single payment of rupees or rupees 1 lakh in the aggregate during the financial year to a resident contractor for carrying out any work, etc. Examine the applicability and determine amount of the tax reduction at the source TDS at source as per the Income Tax Act 1961. ABC Limited, having its registered office in Noida, organized its annual company function at its Gurgaon office. For this purpose, the company engaged Beta Private Limited to arrange the road transport for its employees from the Noida to Gurugram and back, for which a payment of 25,000 has to be made. Further, ABC Limited also entered into a separate contract with the Beta Limited for providing the catering services at the functions of rupees 90,000 or 25,000 for transportation and 90,000 for catering services. Any person responsible for paying a sum of rupees 30,000 in a single payment of rupees or rupees 1 lakh in an aggregate during the financial year to a resident contractor for carrying out any work, including the supply of the labor of carrying any work, is the purpose in pursuance of the contract between the contractor and the contractor. The tax has to be deducted at source under section 194C at the time of the payment of such sum or at the time of the credit of such sum at the account of the contractor, whichever is earlier. In the present case, ABC Limited has entered into a separate contract with the Vita Limited for the arranging road transport and providing the catering services for rupees 25,000 and 9,000 respectively. Both the carriage and the passenger and the catering are expressly covered as a work under the section 194C. Even though the services are different, the aggregate payment to the contractor during the financial year is considered for the threshold limit. Now hence the reduced at the rate 2% is applicable on 1,50,000 being the aggregate amount of the Vita Limited. The amount of the tax is deducted by the ABC Limited would be 2,30,000, 1,50,000. Vaibhav Limited had renovated his office and engaging in the services of his brother, as the existing office premises had become very old and required the uh, refurbishment. The total payment made for the renovation amounted to 2,50,000, which is reasonable to the extent of rupees 1,50,000. It is related party transaction, so it would be deemed supply. The payment of the taxable persons, taxable TPS was made on behalf of the insurance companies. Vijay Health Solution Limited, a third party administration. Third party administration to pay third party administration makes a payment to the various hospitals across India towards the settling the cashless medical insurance claims on behalf of the insurance companies during the financial year 24-25. The total payment made by Vijay Health Solution Limited to the Lifecare Hospital for the cashless claims to rupees 12 lakh. The payment by the TPAs was made on behalf of the insurance companies to the hospitals for the settlement of the medical insurance claims, etc. under the cashless claims, which was on account of the services rendered by the hospital to the various patients. These services are primarily medical services and are liable to deduct the tax at the sources under the section 194G. All such payments to the hospital, etc., as clarified by the CBDT through the Circular 8. In the present case, Vijay Health Solutions Limited is required to deduct the tax under section 94G at the rate 10% on the payment of the rupees 12 lakh
The amount of the tax to be deducted by Vijay Health Solution would be rupees 1,20,000. Mr. Vaibhav, a resident individual aged 46 years, engaged in the business of the plywood and the sculptures, maintained in his book of accounts under the section 44 AB. The follows he follows a mercantile system of the accounting and regularly files his return of income. The profit and the loss account for the year ended on 31st March 2025 shows a net profit of rupees 51,42,000 after debiting crediting the following. During the year, Mr. Vaibhav had taken a professional services of the lawyer in relation to the business dispute. The legal fees was amounting rupees 1 lakh. The tax has been deducted on time but did not deposited in the government with the due date. The TDS was later on deposited on 15 November 2025. It is a deemed supply. Vaibhav had renovated his office by engaging in the services of his brother as he purchased the goods worth rupees 30,000 from Vishnu and Company, a micro enterprises, on 1st March 2025. According to the written agreement between them, the payment was to be made by 5th April to the. However, he made the payment to the Vishnu and Company on 15th April 2025. His appreciation as per the profit and the loss account is 13,66,000. Additional information as per the restructuring agreement with the bank. The bank has converted the unpaid interest of rupees 6 lakhs. As per the restructuring agreement with the bank has converted the unpaid interest of 6 lakh into a new loan account repayable in 20 equal annual installments. The first installment was paid in March 2025. The Vaibhav claimed the entire interest amount of the 6 lakh as an expenses while computing his income. It is not allowed as a expense. The depreciation as per the income. Depreciation as per the income tax rules 1962 is 12 lakhs. He contributed rupees 50,000 towards the tier 1 account of the NPS during the year. Further, he has invested in a 5-year term deposit of 8 lakh. He employed 19 new employees during the previous year. The details of whom are as follow. 20 एम्प्लॉयज़ 1 अप्रैल को, 25 1 मई को, 30 1 अगस्त को, 15 1 सितंबर को. एक ये रेगुलर है, ये कैजुअल, ये रेगुलर, ये कैजुअल. The regular employees participate in the recognized provident fund with the casual employees do not, while the casual employees do not participate in the recognized RPF, while the regular employees participate in the RPF. Mr. Vaibhav has a sculptures in the form of the capital asset required in the January 2015 for rupees 1,80,000. It is acquired. Later on in the financial year 23-24, he started a sculpture business and converted this capital asset into stock in trade for his business. The fair market value at the time of the conversion was rupees 3,50,000. Subsequently, he sold the stocks in trade on June 10, 2024 for rupees 5 lakh. No entry has been made in the books of the conversion books for conversion and the sales of converted sculptures. You are required to compute the total income and the tax liability of Mr. Vaibhav for the assessment year 25-26 if he opts out of the default taxation regime. CIF for the financial year 24-14. So guys, let me check what is the time now. It's around 1:14 और अभी मेरा एक RTP सॉल्व होना, एक नहीं एक आधा नहीं. इसमें मेरा इनकम टैक्स भी नहीं हुआ, मेरे को GST भी करना है और उसके बाद मेरे को चैप्टर भी मिला इसमें. Solve to correct. Mr. Weber, a resident individual, aged 46 years, engaged in the business of the plywood and sculpture, maintains his books of the accounts under the section 44 AV. He follows the marketized system of the accounting and regularly files his return of the income, the profit and the losses account for the year ending 31st March 2025. Shows a net profit of rupees 50, net profit of 51,42,000 after the debiting crediting the following. ये सब डेबिट क्रेडिट करने के बाद ये इनकम आया हुआ है. During the year, Mr. Weber had taken the professional services from the lawyer in the relation to the business dispute. The legal fees was amounted 1 lakh. Tax has been deducted on the time but did not deposit with the government within the due date. The TDS was later on deposited on 15 November 2025. Deducted on time. Weber had renovated his office by engaging in the services of his brother as the existing of his premises had become very old and required the refurbishment. The total payment made for the renovation amounted to 2,50,000, which is reasonable to the extent of rupees 1,50,000. He purchased goods worth rupees 30,000 from Vishnu and Company, Macro Enterprises, on March 1, 2025. According to the written agreement between them, the payment was made on 5th April 2025. However, he made the payment to Vishnu and Company on 15th April 2025. Depreciation as per profit and loss account is depreciation. Additional, as per the restructuring agreement with the bank has converted the unpaid interest of 6 lakhs into the new loan account repayable in 20 equal installments. The first installment was paid in March 2025. I have claimed the entire interest amount of rupees 6 lakh as an expense while computing his business income. Depreciation as per income tax rules 12,000. He contributed rupees 50,000 towards the tier 1 of the NPS during the year. Further, he has invested in the 5-year term deposit of rupees 1.5 lakh. He employed 19 employees during the financial year. The details of the home are as follows. The regular employees participate in the recognized provident fund. The Weber and the sculptures had sculptures in the form of the capital asset acquired on January 1,80,000. Later on the financial year 23-24, he started the sculptures business and converted this capital asset into stock in trade for his business. The fair market value at the time of the conversion was rupees 10 lakh 50,000. Subsequently, he sold the stock in trade on June 10, 2024 for rupees 5 lakh. So no entry has been made in the books for the conversion and the sales of the converted sculptures. You are required to complete the total income and the tax liability of Mr. Weber for the assessment year 25-26. He opts out of the default taxation process.